I was like, all right.
I think for me and a lot of other trans girls that I know, the bedroom starts to feel like a sanctuary. It's a space to feel safe and maybe not have to deal with what exists in the world. We created a replica of my bedroom in the actual gallery space. It really feels like a full universe that I'm trying to convey of trans women in their bedroom, dreaming up their future and possibilities, and maybe even possibilities if the world wasn't the way that it was. Places from my past and places that I dream of for the future both kind of act as gardens to the room. When I had a brain tumor, I really treated CBD as a sacred medicine, which is in Japanese history and is in indigenous histories. I dream of having a farm in the future, but then it's hard because it's pretty hostile in rural places. And then torii gates are always this symbol in Shintoism of a sacred spot. So I think it all comes together in this way that it does form a memoryscape and a kind of longing. A big part of existing as a trans person is the fear that underlies everything. But art is the realm where I feel like I get to dictate things and I get to, have some sort of say in things. I worked in a nonprofit called Translatina. Art opportunities were coming around more, so I was like, maybe I can incorporate social work into this. That started off by doing HIV testing inside the museum. I used to be like, this is activism, or this is art, or this is escapism. But in reality, a lot starts to intertwine. We were just starting to date right before the exhibition. And so I remember even feeling bad, like, okay, how am I going to tell him?
I didn't know what to think of it, because I never really met a person that does art, like real art. I thought it was a little crazy at first. I was a little nervous to be on display, because I am a private person. But when she showed me everything, and I was like, oh, I understand now. It was just great. It was genius.
I was grateful you were there with me so that I didn't have to feel alone in the fishbowl. It isn't always in the front of my consciousness that I'm being filmed, but the feeling of it doesn't go away. I grew up in Texas. Everyone in my school had guns on display, and I felt like I had to hide all the time. So I made friends online and lived under a screen name. So I think that mediation through the screen was something that I've always thought about. I've always found that kind of blurry, that line between what you share and what you don't share. I knew that I wanted to use this film that attaches to glass and will basically fog with just a switch. I think that was a way to be like, okay, let me live behind a screen that can be online or offline. I thought it wasn't enough of a performance for people or something, but it was honestly too much for me. So I invited friends to come to the space, to perform in the theater, things like that, where I could like activate the space and like people within my realm could utilize it. His girlfriend obviously didn't know that he was sleeping with trans women. He was the kind of person where he would be like, drop everything. But he's the only person that I would maybe even think about that for, because he was like, I'll pay whatever. It didn't feel safe, honestly, but that was like a part of getting paid.
I would like to think that I've helped some of my clients from being unlicensed therapists, essentially, or making them feel like they're human, because I would want the same in return.
When certified nurses, assistants, janitors, garbage truck drivers, or people in other occupations considered undesirable go into work, they're not doing it to feel empowered.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, be honest. You
It
can say
was
whatever.
very funny. Like she has this remote, but there's these slits of glass that you can still peek through, and some people would still just try to peek. So Jada would hit the button and just make it visible again, and then they're just like, oh! It's just like made me laugh every time.
But you know what's funny is also like that level of curiosity from those spectators. Like we experienced that just existing, going out. Yeah, literally. The people are always just like staring. Like it just feels like, you know, I'm a person, right? Like, you know, I'm human.
Just like making a spectacle sometimes, and like you have this remote in your hand. It's just like, I think it's freedom.
I just called it the power. It was a way to kind of think about visibility, but also resistance and absence. It has this push-pull effect that I think is mirrored in my personality sometimes, to get intimate and then also pull back and conceal or obscure. It's this strange thing where I didn't get to be myself. I had to be this other person in the South to like survive. And now as a performer, I'm trying to be as much myself as possible. And I'm learning how to perform in a different way.